Hey everybody, I'm the Ranting Monkey, and today we're going to learn about how it's okay to assault and rob people, you know, as long as you're a woman. If I'm being honest, I don't really care about Captain Marvel. I never have. It's not just the movie version. I never liked it in the comic books. It's just a character who's entirely uninteresting to me. Marvel has tons of characters like that, male and female. I just don't care about them or their stories. They're rather boring to me. My worry for the Captain Marvel movie was that she would just be some MarySue brought in for Endgame. As far as Endgame was concerned, that fear was unfounded. I mean, there is that one scene, and if you've seen Endgame, you know what I'm talking about. But otherwise, she wasn't just brought in to save the day. As for her own movie, I have no idea. I haven't seen it. Don't know if I ever will. When I saw the trailers for Captain Marvel, I had 3 thoughts. 1, Brie Larson needs to smile more. 2, she doesn't have an ass. And 3, it looks like it's going to be a Marvel movie. I quite enjoy Marvel movies, even now. I know there's a lot of burnout, but that hasn't hit me yet. But much like Doctor Strange, another character I couldn't give 2 shits less about, I probably won't watch this movie. What I have watched is the deleted scene recently released by Marvel Studios ahead of the Captain Marvel DVD release. And in this deleted scene, Captain Marvel acts in a way that many of us think makes her look more like a villain than a superhero. And apparently that's the wrong opinion to have. First Yahoo's going to tell me about my toxic masculinity, and then the MarySue's going to tell me what a sexist I am.
Captain Marvel triggers fanboys with extended "What? No Smile" scene, proving its point.
I may say this to you a few times throughout this video, but keep in mind what we just read. Fanboys getting triggered proves the point of the scene. Just hang on to that.
A Twitter troll's outrage is never spent, it seems. Fanboys across Twitter shed many fanboy tears about a deleted scene that Marvel Studios released to promote the just home entertainment release of Captain Marvel. It's an extended and alternate version of a scene already in the movie, in which Captain Marvel has landed in 1990s Earth and is reading a map to find her way around Los Angeles, when a testosterone-addled jerk on a motorcycle pulls up next to her and catcalls her. He even asks, "What, no smile?" In this version of the scene, Captain Marvel offers him a handshake, demonstrates her iron grip, and asks for his bike lest he should lose his hand. He quickly relents.
Rather than take the word of a woman who's obviously close to her 28th day of the month, let's just stop and look at what happens in the scene. Both of the articles we read drastically overplay what this guy did. Sure, he's an asshole, but her reaction is just fucking insane.
Nice scuba suit. You need a ride, darling? How about a smile for me, huh?
A smile?
Yeah. I'm offering to help you. Least you could do is give me a smile.
How about a handshake? I'm Veers.
People call me the Don.
Wow. Here's a proposition for you. You're gonna give me your jacket, your helmet, and your motorcycle, and in return, I'm gonna let you keep your hand.
Take it!
What, no smile?
Because the guy may have been a little creepy, she assaults him, strong-arm robs him, steals clothes off a mannequin, and then almost causes several accidents. At the very least, it seems like a drastic overreaction.
It plays a lot like any scene from the Terminator franchise where an outsider to present-day Earth uses some aggressive negotiating tactic to get what they need, but with the satisfying feminist twist of Captain Marvel both getting what she needs and putting some toxic masculinity in its place.
While I grant this is true, the vast majority of times that happens, it's an evil robot. Captain Marvel's supposed to be a hero. In T2, where this was obviously stolen from, homaged from, Arnold Schwarzenegger is a good robot. He lands on Earth, he's naked, he sees a biker bar, and he goes in to find clothing that would fit him.
I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle. forgot to say please.
Sure, Arnold had no claim to this guy's clothes, but he didn't just take them. He didn't get violent until the guy burned him with a fucking cigar. Can you point out the damage that was done to poor Captain Marvel that validates her actions? She did this because the guy talked to her. He didn't hit her. He didn't grab her. He didn't burn her with a cigar. He talked to her. The scenes may be similar, but the actions of our heroes are vastly different.
So, of course, certain outraged male viewers took to Twitter to vent their own toxic masculinity and solidarity with the biker dude and his bruised hand. One tweet read, "Man, it is so empowering to watch a woman with superpowers physically hurt and threaten to break a man's hand and steal his motorcycle and jacket because he said something rude to her. So empowering. Empowerment!" Another, apparently upset by his preconceived notion that the Marvel Cinematic Universe is, rather than being a studiously apolitical corporate juggernaut, a mouthpiece for left-wing activists, added, "We'll get a deleted scene from Endgame where the Hulk is getting ready to go liberate Palestine while Captain America's beating up protesters outside of Planned Parenthood." It's fascinating that a certain, very secure, social media-obsessed contingent of male fandom, empowered by being given both a platform and receiving anonymity, has appeared so very threatened by Captain Marvel, even taking to Rotten Tomatoes weeks in advance of its release to preemptively lower its audience score. The matter was serious enough that it prompted a change. Rotten Tomatoes has since announced that only verified ticket buyers will be able to rate a film upon its release.
Did you remember the title of this article like I told you to? Captain Marvel triggers fanboys with extended What No Smile scene, proving its point. Now, maybe it's just me, but the only point I could find from that scene is that Captain Marvel's a thief and a thin-skinned bully. The Twitter examples she gave us certainly don't show that the guys involved were thieves. She doesn't even offer a fucking defense of Captain Marvel in this. The closest she offers is he was being a jerk, so he deserves to have stuff stolen from him. Yeah, that makes sense. Now, the MarySue article, well, believe it or not, it gets even worse.
Even Captain Marvel's deleted scenes aren't safe from men's bad opinions.
Strap in, folks. The bullshit's about to get really deep. Those damn men and their damn opinions about trying to break a man's hand and steal his motorcycle because he said words? Well, we get a little more justification in this article. Not a good justification, just a little bit more than what we had in the last article.
In case you thought we were finally past the point of having to deal with men's overzealous scrutiny of Captain Marvel, the consensus is now that she's unlikable and a villain, all because of a recently released deleted scene. In the scene, Carol is approached by a gross man, and when he tries to come onto her, she uses her power to take his bike and leaves.
I wonder if our author thought about what she just wrote. She literally just wrote that the guy comes onto her, so she uses her power, her superpower, to steal his bike. And somehow, in our author's mind, that's a reasonable response. Jesus fuck, it might be time for ducks.
Because she almost maims him, people, primarily men, are angry, which just shows that you guys have never been cornered by a man with no feasible means of escape. As a woman in the 21st century, I'd give nothing more than to have the powers that would let me escape a man in the way Captain Marvel does in this scene.
Obviously, you've never been cornered by a man where you can't escape either. Unless you're typing from his basement right now where you're a prisoner, and if you are, blink twice, we'll send help. Otherwise, any situation where you didn't think you had a means of escape, you obviously did because you're not trapped right now, you overly dramatic twat. Semantics aside, Captain Marvel wasn't in a position where she couldn't escape. 1, she's a superhero. 2, they're in an open parking lot in the middle of the day. She's not cornered by any means of the definition. The fuck are you talking about? You just like that she beat up a man. At least be honest about it.
I'd love to be able to scare someone out of touching me against my will, but I guess that would make me a villain, right?
Did you even watch the scene? He didn't lay a goddamn finger on her. He touched her map. I'm the map, I'm the map, I'm the map. Sorry, I have to do that anytime I hear the word map. He didn't touch her. The only time he touched her is when she offered to shake hands. What fucking trailer were you watching? Because it doesn't seem to be this one. You know, you are such a basic bitch, I'm just going to start calling you Becky before I get so insulting YouTube decides to just yank my fucking video. But yes, Becky, if you started going around just bullying everybody who spoke to you and stealing from them, that would make you a fucking villain. Or in the words of the real world, You'd be a fucking criminal. Goddamn, Becky, what are you thinking?
Marvel has created the worst, most unlikable hero ever. Whoa, I never saw this clip, but damn, Captain Marvel's a villain. She straight hurts and robs a dude because he was a jerk to her. That's a villain.
Becky decided this would be a good point in the article to include some toxic masculinity in Twitter form. And even though Tim Pool here explains to her that yes, this makes somebody a villain, it confuses the fuck out of poor Becky.
I feel like I have to start off every article defending a female character by qualifying it with the fact that she isn't my favorite, and I don't just like her because she's a woman.
This is one of those remember what she just said moments.
Which isn't fair to me, because what man has to do that if they're writing about Thor or the Hulk? None, but here I am, defending Carol Danvers, a character I admire, but one who doesn't necessarily make my top 5 list.
Unless that guy who has you locked up in the basement is forcing you to write this article, you don't have to, Becky. You even said at the beginning of the paragraph, this is how you feel. Nobody's forcing you to do it. Especially in a situation like this, where Captain Marvel's clearly in the wrong. Even the producers and director knew this was wrong. They cut it out of the fucking movie. Damn it, Becky.
And that's okay. I'm allowed to love her a little bit less than my faves. Or at least, it should be okay. But with how much men hate her, I feel like I have to defend her to my last dying breath. Here's the thing about Carol Danvers. She's strong, she's confident, and she doesn't take nonsense from anyone.
As I said, I haven't seen Captain Marvel. But what I saw of her in Endgame, I could go with that description. What I saw in this deleted scene? No. That's not strong and confident. That's psycho.
You know who else is that way? Half the Avengers. But because she's a woman, some people see it as a major problem. I guess she has to be in the corner crying for half the movie in order for her to be a completely well-rounded character in their eyes.
I'm beginning to think old Becky here hasn't actually ever seen an Avengers movie. Scarlet Witch, Black Widow, these are women already in the Avengers that nobody has a problem with. But sure, people just hate Captain Marvel because of her vagina. Now Becky begins to meander here a little bit. She's no longer talking about just this scene, which is weird because she's responding to criticism about this scene. But that's old Becky for you.
What's fun about the Avengers is that everyone is overconfident, almost to a fault. Carol just happens to be coming in when all of the other Avengers have realized, in universe-having fashion, what their overconfidence got them. But still, they're all that way. Stephen Strange and Tony Stark are literally 2 of the most confident men to ever walk the planet. But people praise them, so what's the deal? Is it just because Carol is a woman? Or because her overconfidence is warranted?
In the grander scheme of things, a lot of it had to do with how she was brought in. Her movie wasn't originally planned. Black Widow, who arguably deserved a movie far before Captain Marvel ever did, never got one. And there was the whole controversy over whether or not she was going to come into Endgame and just be the MarySue, which a lot of people thought was going to happen. But all that aside, Becky, pay attention, we're talking about this scene specifically. She's not being overconfident. She's being a cunt. A violent, psychotic cunt.
All the tweets bashing her for qualities that the other Avengers have shows that their hatred of her doesn't come from a place of genuine criticism, but from a place of sexism.
Well, not if we're going by the tweets you showed. Those tweets were concerned with the fact that Marvel even shot a scene where the hero, the fucking hero, commits felonious assault and grand theft.
The problem isn't that she's cocky or overconfident. It's that she is a woman with these attributes. And as much as these men don't want to realize that they're being sexist, they are. Hating a female character is totally okay. Hating her for the same characteristics you love in Tony Stark and Stephen Strange? Definitely showing your true colors.
You're right, there's some true colors shining through here, but it's not from anybody who made any fucking tweet you're pissed off about. It's from you. The only reason you're defending Captain Marvel here is because she's a woman. You already told us that. You feel like you have to fight to your last breath when somebody insults her. Even when they're insulting her for a scene that was cut from the movie because it makes her look like a goddamn villain. If you actually do support this character, you should be more pissed off than anybody, because this makes her look horrible. If you really do think she's strong and confident, you should look at this and go, that's not what this is. This makes her look bad. I'm glad it was cut from the movie. And instead, you offer us a defense of, oh my God, in the real world, if I was ever trapped, I wish I could do that to somebody. She wasn't even trapped. She was in literally no danger at all. The only thing that happened was a guy talked to her. Was he creepy? Sure. But she didn't even try saying, leave me alone. She didn't even say, I'm not interested. No. She said, I'll shake your hand, and then she tried to break it and stole the man's motorcycle. And the part that nobody seems to care about, she goes and robs a store before almost causing an accident. This scene made her look horrible. You should be offended by that if you actually are a fan of hers, even if she's not in your top 5. Come on, Becky, pull your head out of your ass. Alright guys, that's going to wrap up this one. Before I go, I want to tell you about a couple of channels I think you should check out, especially if you do like comic books. The first one is Bad Comic Review, run by my friend Jack. Jack does short reviews of comic books that you might be interested in. I enjoy Jack's reviews because they're short and to the point. Make sure you check him out. The other channel's Polydub. Every Wednesday night, sometime after 10 p.m., Polydub, along with Jack and Inquisitor, have the Comic Book Curation Podcast. Don't worry, it's not just nerdy comic book talk. These guys run the gamut. If it has anything to do with comics, movies, books, television news, they talk about it, and they're really funny guys. Make sure you check them out. The links will be below. And I almost forgot, they've started doing regular videos on the channel. Before you leave, make sure you click the link so you can follow me on Twitter so you know when my shows go live or when there's a new video up. If you enjoyed this, please share it because YouTube's not going to. Thank you so much for watching. I'm the Ranting Monkey, and I'll see you next time.
Here's a proposition for you. You're gonna give me your jacket, your helmet, and your motorcycle, and in return, I'm gonna let you keep your hand.
Your deleted scene makes me sad.